In lesson 8-2, we will solve two-step equations. I actually put in parentheses there four-step equations because I'm actually break it down a little bit further, hopefully to help us remember everything that's going on. So a two-step equation is one where you're going to have either addition or subtraction and multiplication or division on both sides. So step one, simplify both sides of the equation. So we're going to combine like terms. That's kind of a phrase that we'll use. Two is get rid of the addition and subtraction. So notice we're doing backwards order of operations. We have PEMDAS. When we solve equations, we actually go backwards, but remember the addition and subtraction happen at the same time and the multiplication division happen at the same time. So first thing we're going to do is undo or get rid of the addition and subtraction. Then we're going to get rid of or undo the multiplication and division. And then last but not least, we can plug our answer in to check it. So, for example, here we have 3x plus 2 equals 20. So if we copy the problem, 3x plus 2 equals 20. There's nothing to simplify, so we can go past step 1. Step 2 is get rid of the addition and subtraction. So here, we have multiplication right here and addition right here. So we need to get rid of the addition and subtraction first. So let's subtract 2 on both sides. The opposite of adding 2 is subtracting 2, and whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So let's bring that 3x down. You can bring your equal sign down, and we're left with 18. Now we get rid of the multiplication division to the side of the variable. So again, the x is over here, so let's do the opposite of what's happening. So 3 times x, we're going to divide by 3 on both sides. So the 3's will cancel. So I'm left with x equals 6. And now we can plug this in. So 3 times 6 is 18, plus 2 is 20. So x equals 6 is the correct answer. For example 2, first thing, simplify both sides. There's nothing for us to do on either side, so we can skip past step 1 or get rid of it. So I'm going to copy the problem. Negative 4 equals 1/3 z plus 2. Get rid of the addition and subtraction. Again, I'm adding 2, so let's subtract 2 on both sides. Keep in mind that this is a negative, so I'm going to bring my 1/3 z down, and I'll bring my equal sign down. And if I owe $4 and I owe $2, altogether I owe 6. Okay, now I'm done with step 2. Step 3, get rid of the multiplication division. Well, this is multiplication, so the opposite of multiplying is dividing, but I don't want to divide by a fraction. I'm going to, instead of dividing by 1/3, I'm going to multiply by 3/1. Multiply by the reciprocal. Whatever you do to one side, you got to do the other. So multiply by 3/1. Well, 3/1 is really just 3. So let's multiply by 3 over here. Over here, I'm writing it as a fraction or a ratio because I have a fraction. Over here, I'm writing it as a whole number because I'm working with whole numbers. So just write it however you need it. So the 3's here are going to cancel. The 1's are already 1, so I'm left with my z. So z equals, notice this is a negative, so my answer is going to be negative. 6 times 3 is 18. So z equals negative 18. So now if I plug it back in, 1/3 of 18 is 6, but remember it's negative 6. So negative 6 plus 4. If I owe $6 and have 2, that means I owe 4. So that is correct. And I've checked my answers. So step 3 and step 4 are good to go. For example 3, again, I don't have anything to simplify, so I can just copy the problem. 8 minus 3x equals 14. So in all of these so far, I've skipped step 1, but we will get to that eventually, so I would like you to know that it's there. Get rid of the addition and subtraction. Well, I see here that I'm subtracting 3x, but the 3x has to do with multiplication. What I'm really interested in is this positive 8. Okay, it's a positive 8, and what's the opposite of a positive 8 would be a negative 8. So that gets a little confusing because you see subtraction, but again, don't think of it as subtraction. Think of it as adding a negative 3x. So this is really addition, and that's why we're subtracting. 8 minus 8 is 0. I'm going to bring my negative 3x down. That's a big place where people often make mistakes. Forgetting the negative. So bring your negative 3x down and your equal sign. Okay, and if you have 14 and you owe 8, that means you're going to have 6. Okay, so we just got rid of the addition and subtraction. Let's get rid of the multiplication division. Now this is multiplication, so I can divide by -3 on both sides. Make sure you're showing all of your work. The negatives cancel. The 3's cancel. I'm left with my x. X equals 6 divided by 3 is 2, but there is one negative there, so I'm going to have -2. Let's plug that in. Okay, so we had a -3. Remember, this is adding a negative. So -3 times -2, that would be +6. So 8 plus 6 is 14. That works. We checked it. All right, example 4. Now we actually get to do step 1. So I'm going to copy this down. 14 equals -k plus 3k minus 2. All right, simplify both sides. Well, there's nothing to do over here. But over here, I have a k, a -k, and I have a +3k, and I have a -2. I can't do anything with the -2 because what I say is combine like terms. When I say like terms, that means like, numbers that are like each other. These both have k's. Now it says -k. Remember what the coefficient is here? It's -1k. So if I owe 1 and I have 3, I owe 1 and I have 3, that means I have 2 k's. Okay, and so I'm still subtracting 2, and this 14 is still here. So I'm bringing this down, bringing my equals down, I'm combining this, and I'm bringing this down. Okay, so I just simplified both sides. Now I can get rid of the addition and subtraction. I am subtracting 2 or adding a -2. The opposite of -2 is adding 2. So I got to add 2 to both sides. This is canceled, or 0, and so I have 2k equals 16. Now I get rid of the multiplication division, divide by 2. I know you know what the answer is already, but please show me the work. So k equals 8. Alright, so let's plug that in. If I have -8 plus 3k, well, 3 times 8 is 24. So 24 minus 8, or I can take my -8 and my -2 together and make a -10. And I had 24. 24, if I have 24 and I owe 10, that means I have 14. So that works. We checked our answer and it worked out. All right, for this type of problem, I wrote a little note here. Remember the invisible parentheses. Remember, order of operations. This is actually parentheses up here. So normally we get rid of the addition and subtraction first, but we have it inside of parentheses. So the first thing you need to do, okay, let's rewrite it. 9 plus t divided by 12 equals -3. The first thing we need to do here is actually take care of this, because again, PEMDAS. Okay, we go backwards. Okay, normally we get rid of addition and subtraction first. Well, this is inside of parentheses, so that's actually going to be the last thing we do. So we're going to actually skip past addition and subtraction. We're going to take care of our multiplication division. We are dividing by 12, so let's go ahead and multiply by 12 on both sides. 12s will cancel, so I'm left with 9 plus t equals -36. Now let's subtract by 9 on both sides, and I get t is equal to -45. All right, let's check this out. So if I have 9 plus -45, so if I have 9 and I owe 45, that's going to mean I owe 36. And if I owe 36 and I divide by 12, that will give me -3. So t equals -45 is my correct answer. All right, so if you have any questions with the homework, be sure to check the answer key that I've also posted to Moodle.